raspberries have somewhat mystical status amongst bartenders. Not only do they make the freshest, most delicious classic cocktails around, but they also have the ability to fix any misshapen or unbalanced cocktail. Is your mojito not giving you enough oomph? Stick a raspberry in it. Is your margarita boring and bland? Stick a raspberry in it. Is your G&T just more of the same again and again? You get the idea. Put raspberries in stuff and it tastes delicious. These beautiful berries are available all summer long, all the way through till October, and now is the best time to go and find some in your local area. If you have a local pick your own, please go see them, socially distant obviously, or go to your local market and they'll have some of the best produce for you there. If you do choose to go to the supermarket and pick some raspberries up there, they tend to be those bright neon colored ones and they're not as kind of powerful and as fruity. We'll be making a classic Floradora, a twisted Clover Club, and a modern cocktail called Super Seedy from good friend Ronan Collins. But first, we've got to do some prep. Alright, so first thing we're going to make today is a simple raspberry syrup. What we're going to need is 150 grams of raspberries and 300 grams of caster sugar. Add all that to a pot and then realize that you need a bain-marie instead of cooking it, otherwise it's going to burn. Get yourself a bain-marie, so just a pot with lots of hot water and a bowl on top. Stir and squish the raspberries into the sugar until all the sugar has dissolved, until you can't taste any grainy sugar anymore. Once that's happened, take it off the heat, leave it on the side and wait for it to cool, stick it in the fridge. Once it's come out of the fridge, it should look like a kind of loose jam with seeds and pulp, and all we're going to do is pass that through a muslin cloth. If you don't have a muslin cloth, use a clean tote bag if you can. Just make sure that when you're parceling everything up, there's no holes or gaps, so when you start squeezing, nothing comes out like, oh, yeah.
They ask you how you are, you just have to say that you're fine.
Once you've got your syrup, stick it in a clean bottle, put a label on it, and keep it in the fridge. It should keep for 2 weeks, and it's awesome in milkshakes. Alright, so cocktail number 1 is the Floradora. It's one of my favorites for sure. Take a jar or shaker, add 2 raspberries and save 1 for later. Juice in 1 whole lime or 25 ml lime juice and add 15 ml Gomme, which is a heavyweight 2-to-1 sugar syrup. We're gonna take some frozen ginger out of the freezer and pass that through a garlic press. And this is just to add a big fiery kick. Then top all that with 50 ml of your favorite gin, add some ice to your jar or shaker and give it a big old shake. That was easy. Once it's all nice and broken up, add some more ice and top with ginger ale. Give it a quick swizz. At this point, you could strain off all the bits, but I quite like that in my drink. Then just garnish with a lime and a raspberry. That's the Floradora. Enjoy! All right, cocktail number 2 is this decadent and naughty twisted Clover Club. We're gonna be adding 50 ml of Porter's Tropical Old Tom Gin, which is flavored with passion fruit, guava, and white tea. To that, we're gonna add 10 ml of Bianco style vermouth, 2 raspberries, and the white of a whole egg. If you get a bit squeamish about egg whites in drinks, you can use chickpea water or aquafaba or any other foaming agent you like. To that, we're gonna add 25 ml lemon juice, freshly squeezed, and finally crack out that beautiful raspberry syrup we made earlier, which doubles down on the raspberry flavor. Add 10 ml of that, which adds that gorgeous color and beautiful roundness. Give this a nice shake without any ice. This is called dry shaking, and what this does is whips up that egg white or that foaming agent into a nice decadent foam on top. Then we're gonna add some ice and shake the living hell out of it. The longer you shake, the harder you shake, the smaller the air bubbles that are trapped in the egg white, which means you get a richer texture and you have this decadent, beautiful foam on top. That gorgeous pink color. This is the Clover Club. Enjoy. Next thing we're going to do is a pimped raspberry syrup. This one is a bit more involved, but it is super worth it. The whole idea of this is that we're partnering raspberries with complementary flavors that boost their presence and it will blow your little socks off. So add 150 grams of raspberries, 25 grams of sliced purple carrot. To that, we're going to add 2 grams of whole black peppercorns, 1 gram of sexy flaky salt, 15 grams of blackberries, 35 grams of cherry tomatoes with the vine. I know there's a lot of ingredients here, but bear with me, it's awesome. 5 big dashes of orange bitters, 20 grams of dried and diced mango, 1 gram of dried porcini mushrooms, which kind of lends this wonderful earthiness to the whole thing and ties everything together. 10 grams of cacao nibs for that lick of bitterness and raspberries and chocolate. 1 gram of whole pink peppercorns. 1/10 of a gram of vanilla pods. Now, vanilla pods are pretty easy to get hold of. 2 grams of pectinase and 1 gram of amylase. These are both enzymes and they aid in kind of breaking down the fruits and stuff to release their deliciousness. 225 grams of caster sugar and 100 mils of water. Once you got all your ingredients together, you can then seal the vac pack bag. If you don't have a vac pack machine, you can use a sandwich bag. It does just the same thing. And all we're gonna do is stick this in a nice warm water bath. Give it a little jacuzzi for an hour. This water needs to be barely simmering. If you have a sous vide machine, stick it on 60 degrees, and this is just gonna simmer away for 60 minutes. Once it's had its hour in the jacuzzi, take it out and give it a little rub down and a shiatsu. Make sure all those raspberries and blackberries and tomatoes have all burst and released their flavor. Wrap it all up and stick it in the fridge for an hour or so until it's nice and cool. Once it's nicely chilled, all we're gonna do now is pass it through a nice fine strainer. And that's just to take all the seeds out and all the pulp and all the stuff like that that you don't really want in your drink. At this point, you could leave it like this and it's ready to go. However, it has a little residue still, so we're gonna put it through a 50 micron super bag. You can get these online. They're kind of chef's tools, sometimes called jelly bags, and they're like a reusable coffee filter. This syrup is deeply complex and it goes a long way to make those bright raspberry notes last longer on the palate without compromising the straightforward nature of raspberry cocktails. It's incredibly complex and it blows your little socks off. Who wants to make some drinks? All right, cocktail number 3 is called Super Seedy from Irish whiskey specialist and all-round top lad Ronan Collins. We're gonna be batching this drink to serve whenever we want. So into a Pyrex jar, we're gonna add 45 mils of creme de cacao, 27 dashes of orange bitters, 22.5 mils of Suze, 90 mils of our pimped raspberry syrup, 360 mils of Jameson or Redbreast, and because we're batching it, we need some dilution, so we're gonna add 150 mils water. Whisk all these ingredients together and then pop them in a nice clean container or bottle. Stick that in the fridge or freezer overnight and then serve whenever and wherever you want. This is one killer serve. So there you go, friendo, 3 killer raspberry cocktails for you to be getting inspired, drinking better, and making the most of what's around you. If you have any questions or comments or queries, stick them in the comment section below. You'll also find in the description a link to Ronan's book, where you're gonna find a load of other Irish whiskey cocktails if you fancy a crack at those. And until next time, take it easy, be good, love you, bye!